You cannot honestly be that naive. You think I'd marry that
non-subscriber?
Ha! You must be out of your freaking mind.
Car D Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. This video is sponsored by Sleeve Chief. There's a major restock coming for a lot of their popular sleeves, and they're going to be releasing a new Enel, Dawn sleeve, and Holo sleeve as well. Use code CARDKaizoku for 5% off your order. A bunch of new cards in OP09 were revealed. They were spoiled recently. A bunch of SRs, so it's really good game-impacting cards. Normally, I would not cover these this early and just wait for like a big batch of things to cover. But I figured I'd do this one a little early, like kind of real time, because I am pretty hyped for the set now actually. There's a lot of really interesting like design mechanics that they're going to venture into. So hope you don't mind a couple extra like early reactions to these new cards than normal. And yeah, just as a warning, OP09 is like super spoiler heavy. So yeah, if you really care about spoilers that much, I really don't know what to tell you. Really, the only solution is just to not play the game until you're caught up, if you really care that much about spoilers. But if you don't care and you're just happy to play the game and then like absorb some of these cool stuff that happens in the future through like osmosis, then yeah, you're more than welcome to watch the rest of the video. But yeah, this is your last warning. But to be honest, me personally, if I see like a really cool card, it makes me like more hype about what the character would do in the manga. But that's just me, so yeah, maybe you guys don't think that way, so I understand. So now that we got that PSA out of the way, so they showed a bunch of new alt arts for the leaders and then the SRs that correspond to each color, with some additional stuff that I'll throw in too in between each leader. So first off, we have Shanks. So this is what the alt art for Shanks would look like. I like it. And then one of the red SRs for the set is this Ben Beckman card. So Ben Beckman is 7 cost, 7k power, 1k counter. On play, trash up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 6,000 or less. This is amazing, right? It's trash, not KO. So it does get around like stupid cards like the Sabo that prevent your characters from being KO'd. Ben Beckman is a solution to it, and it also gets around like on KO effects, so you can kill Kikunojos without healing your opponent so that you can aggro them down as a red deck. And then 7 cost for 7k power, it's not the worst thing in the world. He has counter too, so it's, I think, like kind of balanced in that way. The fact that he can KO with 6,000 power or less. And yeah, this can be combined with cards like Raise Max to give something power down so that you can hit a higher threshold. For 8 Dawn, a Raise Max plus a Ben Beckman can KO a 9,000 power character. That's like anything, almost. And then even with OP08 Marco, 1 Dawn on his leader ability gives you minus 2k, so Marco plus Ben Beckman lets you KO an 8k power character on play for 8 Dawn. So yeah, I would imagine this is run in any kind of like mid-range red deck. Could even see play in Zoro. It's still like a pretty strong attacking body that removes something that might prevent your other weenies from attacking. Also, why is Ben Beckman holding the gun by like the muzzle? I just noticed that. I forget. In Shanks' pirate crew, no one has a double fruit, right? Because Shanks doesn't? I forgot. They haven't shown up in the story in a while, so yeah. Really cool. I like this Ben Beckman card. It's finally a good card in red. And we also have a second red SR revealed. We have 2 SRs for red now, so Shanks is a 10 cost 12k power character who reads all of your opponent's characters have minus 1000 power, and he has rush. This is also very amazing, right? It's a 10 cost 12k rush attacker that is already insanely valuable as it is, and then he also gives minus 1k to everything always on your turn, on your opponent's turn. You don't need to attach Dawn, you don't need to activate anything. It's just like a permanent debuff. So yeah, this means that all of your opponent's attacks at you, if they were going to be 5k, require 1 Dawn attached to hit you. And then along with the leader ability of OP09 Shanks, on your opponent's turn when they attack you, you can give them another minus 1k. So this is like a free 2k counter once a turn, and then other than that, it's a free 1k counter for everything else. So this does make up for like how underwhelming this Shanks leader ability felt, right? Since you can only activate it on your opponent's turn when they attack you, only one time too. People thought that, oh, that kind of sucks. That's like, that's just one free 1k counter. But yeah, combined with this Shanks, that does kind of add up, right? 1 may not be too big of a deal, but 2 is definitely gonna hurt. And the fact that he has Rush 2 means that you can use him the turn you play him, attack 12k into something that you gave minus 1k. Would this be run in a Zoro deck? He does make characters easier for your weenies to trade into, right? Like a Buggy with your leader ability active can attack 4k into something. But yeah, for 10 Dawn, you can't use your leader ability for that turn unless you run like the starter deck 1 Nami. This one here, that can give Rested Dawn to your leader after you play the Shanks. So yeah, I guess that just gives like Zoro like a board clear kind of out in case they can't win the turn after. And yeah, one thing to note too is that with this 10 cost Shanks and your leader ability, giving minus 2k to something, like cards like this Red Hawk, on a future turn when you have 2 Dawn Despair, they can KO a 4000 power or less character when you activate the counter effect. This can hit a 6k base power character with those 2 effects active. And then Gungam Jet Pistol can KO an 8k power character this way via trigger, right? Because that trigger happens on your opponent's turn, so you do get the extra minus 1k from your leader ability. And if I remember correctly, the leader abilities minus 1k persist the whole turn. Yep, it does for the whole turn. Minus 1k. So this Shanks does kind of promote like a mid-range kind of red style, which is, yeah, something that is a space that isn't really fulfilled by any deck at the moment. Marco kind of tried to fill that space, but he's also part blue and he's kind of clunky, but this Shanks may be the answer to that. Being at 5 life is maybe like what's needed for mid-range red to be viable. Just having that 1 extra life to be healthy. But to be honest, a lot of these new Shanks cards also help red-blue Marco, so maybe both of them we'll see play now. Up next is Buggy. This is Buggy's alt art, leader art, which is, yeah, very characteristic of Buggy, so I like this one too. And then we have our first cross-skilled character here in 09, and it's a crocodile character. 7 cost, 7k power, also similar to Ben Beckman. Maybe that's a theme of this cycle of SRs. But yeah, what Crocodile does is, on play up to 1 character card with the cross-skilled type, or with the type including Baroque Works, and a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Okay, yeah, I think Buggy may be good then. We were unsure if he would be good, because what he did was, hey, let me bring him up. So yeah, activate main, you can rest 5 Dawn and then discard a card from your hand and cheat out a cross-skilled character from your hand. We were surmising that like, if this doesn't play something bigger than 5 cost, then there's really no benefit to doing this, because you could just hard cast for 5 anyway. So it's 5 Dawn to play out a 7 cost character with 7k power, so that is good already. 5 for 7, that's like vanilla. And then what Crocodile does is let you play another cross-skilled or Baroque Works character on top of that, which for all intents and purposes could just be the vanilla for now. So it's 2 7k bodies out for 5 Dawn and a 1 discard, which if you remember is very similar to this 7 cost Ivankov from O2. Right, on play he lets you draw 3 cards and you can play a blue Impel down type character with the cost of 6 or less. People usually play like this Crocodile, which is actually something you can play with this Crocodile as well. Right, so Croc into Croc, 2 7ks out, both Crocodile characters. And then yeah, the biggest benefit of Crocodile over Ivankov is that cross-skilled and Baroque Works is a much wider character type that you can have access to instead of just Impel down. Blue Impel down, to be specific. So I think this Crocodile is going to be crazy amazing for the deck. Great tempo swings, you're playing out 2 characters out. Up next we have Purple Black Luffy. Okay, this is my favorite alt art for the leader cards actually. And then yeah, the purple SR that corresponds to Luffy is the Sanji card. So Sanji is a 7 cost, 7k power. Yeah, it's definitely a theme for this cycle. So on play, you may return 1 or more of your Dawn cards from play to your Dawn deck. And if you do that, this character gains Rush for this turn, then rest up to one of your opponent's 6 cost or lower characters. Ooh, okay, I really like that. Because again, you could rest this asshole, unkOable blocker. He is 6 cost or less. So this does help you get around blockers that might block you for lethal, and he has Rush too. And then the interesting thing is that his on play, the part where you return Dawn, you can pick the number. You may return 1 or more of your Dawn. So it's 1 minimum. This does play into the leader card, because what the leader does is if you return 2 or more Dawn, you can get 1 back active and 1 back rested. And yeah, small correction from my like leader first impression video. I think I'm leaning more towards that it has to be -2 cost from 1 effect, 1 single effect. It can't add up between 2 cards. So yeah, this Sanji lets you pick 2 or more. I don't know if you want to do more, but at least 2. And get the Dawn back from Luffy, so you don't lose anything at all, actually. And you get this 7k power rush attacker that can rest a 6 cost on board. And then, yeah, the flexibility of choosing the number of Dawn cards means that you can even run this in a Purple Luffy deck. It's still runnable in Purple Luffy. You just return 1 Dawn instead of 2, so you're not like losing out too much Dawn. And in fact, in a Purple Luffy deck, like one of the annoying things that prevent you from lethal is like trying to finish with a 9 cost Kaido, and then your opponent has Sabo setup so that you're unable to KO their board, get rid of the blockers, and swing for game. Because what he does is KO at 6 cost and then he has Rush to swing for 10. This Sanji does get around those kind of situations better than the Kaido, because yeah, it can rest the blocker. And even on curve, you could rest something to like swing into to trade to keep up board advantage too. So this is an amazing card for purple, for both purple black Luffy and purple Luffy. And to be honest, any purple deck. Up next we have Marshall D Teach. And this is the alt art for Teach. It's a very Teach kind of card. It's like shit-eating grin. Let's take a look at the character that is associated. Okay, so it's not a 7 cost 7k power, it's actually a 10 cost. So it's a boss monster for the Teach deck. So what does he do? So 10 cost 12k power, no counter blocker. Then activate main once per turn if your leader has the type Blackbeard Pirates and if this character was played this turn. Okay, so you can only activate it once. Up to one of your opponent's leaders' effects are negated for the rest of the turn. What the heck? It just straight up negates an effect. After this, up to one of your opponent's character effects are negated until the end of your opponent's next turn. That character also cannot attack. What? Okay, so it negates a leader ability, but on your turn. So it's very targeted on what leaders actually get affected by this. And then you can negate a character. That means that they lose their on KOs, they lose their blockers, they lose... What else could they lose? I don't think it removes like plus power to them, right? If they were like buff for 2k using like red yellow Sabo's leader ability, where it gives like plus 2k to something, I think that doesn't go away because it's not an effect. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I understand it. But yeah, gets rid of blockers, gets rid of like even ACOS Kid, right? You can ignore the part where you can only attack ACOS Kid characters. Let me bring them up so you know what I'm talking about. This guy, right? If this character is rested, your opponent cannot attack anything other than other Eustace Captain Kid characters. You can just ignore that part with the 10 cost Teach. And yeah, also it can't attack too. That is crazy good. Crazy stall card. He's a blocker too, and 12k stat line. Wow. But yeah, let's think about how it works with leader abilities. So stuff that activates on main or when attacking, those effects don't get affected by this. So what would? I guess stuff like this Bonnie, right? When your opponent attacks once per turn, if you pay 1 Dawn, they can't pay that 1 Dawn to rest one of your characters. So that makes Bonnie less annoying. And then Bonnie can't just rest your 12k blocker too right off the bat. What else? Oh, Enel. Well, Blackbeard like completely massacres Enel. Because yeah, he can't heal one time with his leader ability. He just goes to 0. And then Blackbeard's leader ability itself, where you trash a card in hand to prevent your opponent's on-plays abilities to activate, means that Yamato can't heal them, stuff like this. So they can't heal via their characters and they can't heal via their leader ability. They just can't play the game. They just die, being at 4 life too. Blackbeard is the Enel killer. I didn't know this was part of the One Piece lore. I don't know, maybe. Like, for all we know, Enel, last time we saw him was on the moon. He could have came back to Earth and then met with Blackbeard, and Blackbeard took his double fruit. It's also unconfirmed if Blackbeard has more than 2 fruits right at the moment. But yeah, that's neither here or there. That's just me making sense of this interaction in the card game and like trying to justify it in the anime series itself. So yeah, so long, Enel in the meta with Blackbeard now. And up next we have Nico Robin. The alt art for Nico Robin is kind of meh. Yeah, I don't really like this. I wish they picked a different manga panel for this. But let's take a look at the SR that came along with the reveal. So it's a 6 cost 6k power character, so that doesn't follow the theme at all. It was only the red, blue, and purple ones that followed that theme. So no theme at all. Just coincidence maybe. So Robin is a 6 cost 6k power, 1k counter. On play, if your opponent has 3 or more life cards, trash up to one of the top cards of your opponent's life. And then trigger play up to 1 3 cost or less yellow character from your hand. Wait, that sounds broken. What? So in a Robin deck, well, Robin has Banish anyway. But no, that's fine. It doesn't really conflict with the Demon Robin, because it trashes the top life, so it doesn't trigger anyway. So it's like you're banishing it, banishing on play. And yeah, 6 cost 6k power is alright of a stat line. I think it's well worth it for this kind of effect. And then in the late game where your opponent has less than 3 life, she's still a 1k counter, so it's good on that end too. And then the trigger lets you play a 3 cost. I think there was like a Jaguar D Sol character that's a blocker that's part of the reveals. I don't have a graphic for him ready, but that's one of the targets you can play with this. Honestly, this card might be good in a Katakuri deck too. 03 Katakuri. Because yeah, you have the pressure of swinging for 7 every turn, so that burns a lot of counters in hand or like takes life, and then the Robin also takes that life like unanswerable. So what would the Katakuri curve be? So you go second, pass, or play pudding, then you play Perospero for 3, and then with your remaining Dawn swing for 7. If they take, let's see, if they were a 5 life leader, they go to 4. If they're a 4 life leader, they go to 3. So let's keep that in mind. Turn after. So if they're a 5 life leader, you can KO a 4 cost with Gedatsu after they took. But I guess in this scenario, if your opponent is a 4 life leader at 3 life at the moment and you can't KO anything with Gedatsu, since you're at 6 down anyway, just play the Robin. They take a life, so they go to 2, guaranteed. And a 5 life leader would go to 3 at this point. But yeah, against the 5 life leader, you probably played Gedatsu out instead, so you could wait till your next turn to play Robin and still swing for 7 with your leader. So 8 Dawn turn, you could play the Robin finally against the 5 life leader, get them to 2 life. Then against a 4 life starting leader, you could play the 7 Mom and swing for 7. So they'll give you a life, most likely. And then you still have to defend the 7k from your leader. And then yeah, next turn you're at 10 Dawn, you play 10 Mom. They take another life, you heal 1. So that is actually a lot of pressure. It makes aggro Katakuri like pretty good now. Now that you can knock off 1 life guaranteed with the Devil Robin. When I think about it that way, yeah, this might make Katakuri playable actually. It's pretty huge for the deck. And then the trigger works with Perospero too. If you trigger out the Robin, you can play 3 cost Perospero from your hand. But yeah, it's also good in a Nico Robin deck, so that's good to see. It's good in both decks. But it's just a rare too. It's not even an SR. So Robin still has more secrets in store for us in the set. Okay, I'm hyped for yellow now. And then there were some other yellow cards revealed. So there's this 2k counter Nico Olivia, or Olvia, if I read the Japanese, Olubia. So what Olvia does is on play, give it to one of your leader Nico Robins, plus 3000 power for the turn. Okay, so 1 Dawn for 3k is very good, right? Because if you've forgotten, our leader has Banish. So you're swinging 8k Banish, they have to counter or else they lose a life. For just a 1 Dawn investment, that's worth it. And then if you don't want to go for life at that point, she's a 2k counter. And then trigger, if your leader is Nico Robin, draw 3 cards and discard 2. Yeah, that's great too. Filters out your hand, you're +1 in cards too. Wow, I like it. And this is Nico Robin's mom, spoiler. And then lastly, one other card I want to go over is this yellow event, Derish. This is how Jaguar D-Sol laps, spoilers. So yeah, this event card is interesting in that what it does is for 3 costs on main, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, you can reveal up to 2 cards with trigger other than another Derish, and then add them to your hand. Then return the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. So it's a like Sanji's peel-off that searches, a searching Sanji's peel-off that's crazy. It only picks up triggers, but yeah, that's no big deal. There's so many good yellow trigger cards. I actually think that this card is good in Bello Betty too. It refills your hand in the late game when you run out of Revolutionary Army cards in your hand to like discard for your leader ability or to like even play. And it even has a trigger that draws you a card too. So yeah, unintentional Bello Betty support. This leader, this gal. So I thought I might as well bring it up. Here's the alt art for the Lim leader. We already went over what this 9 cost audio does in the first impressions video of all the leaders. So you can check it out there. Just wanted to show the art here for this real quick. So yeah, that's all I had to go over in this video. Let me know what you guys think of these new SRs. These new SRs are like making me really hyped for the set. 07 and 08, they were great, but I'm really liking like the design spaces they're going down in 09. Especially with the 4 Emperors, I really like that kind of theme going on too. And yeah, just really excited for 09 now that we're not going to get for like, what, 6 months? Make the game release on the same release cycle, please, so that we can get hyped for these cards at the same time, or else we're just like stuck sitting here waiting for these cards to finally reach us after Japan figures everything out. And yet, that's it for this video. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if you like these kind of videos. I welcome all feedback. And yeah, if you are not already subscribed, I have to remind you to subscribe because that works actually. For some reason, it's like a human nature mind trick thing. I don't know what it is, but if I say it, more people do it than they normally would have. So no shame. Okay, bye.
Car D Kaizoku.